Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers. I'm the instructor for Annie 258 Game Mobile Design, and this is Module 4, a brand new module, so we need to do a new project. Just kind of give you behind the scenes what's going to be happening next is that we are in pre-production. So you should know what that means. I went ahead and put the lesson content, the same thing I had for Module 1. Some of you may have forgotten that. So please kind of skim that. If you read it thoroughly the first time, you don't need to read it. You can just kind of skim through it. I've got a lot of the same information in case you guys need some help. If you don't, and you're very confident in Unreal, which you should feel more confident after the last module, there's some materials that you may want to refresh yourself on, so feel free to go through those again. Otherwise, go ahead and go straight to the module for assignment. That'll take you through what is expected, what you need to do, and the first thing is you need to download Module 4 course assignment materials, and you can find that under that heading. And once you get there, you can go ahead and download, and you'll see this when you open it back up. What I want you to do is go ahead and bring this into Photoshop and go ahead and draw right over top of it, and follow the restrictions and requirements, and I've got those listed under Module 4 assignment, pre-production, Courtyard level, design requirements and restrictions. So read that thoroughly before you start designing your level. So it's really up to you how you want to design it. You have full reign over this entire space, the inside of the space. Anything on the outside of the space you cannot touch, you cannot move, you cannot scale that up. It is a rectangle, keep it that way. Do not change the shape. You can change the shape by creating rooms. Okay, you can change the shape by creating rooms. That'll be the interior shape you can kind of mess with. The courtyard itself is basically an open air, which means when you look up, there's no ceiling. So a courtyard, to me, now there's a difference between a courtyard and an atrium. Atriums are usually enclosed. Okay, a courtyard to me is an open area. Okay, so I just want to be clear on that in case some of you have questions about that. So open air, again, if you do add buildings, you need to put them on the perimeter here. Okay, do not exceed over this way. Stick with inside this perimeter, and I believe the smallest building you can have is 30 by 30. Now you know, I'm asking for 5, but you can have as many as you want, but you have to have an area that's open in the middle. Okay, otherwise it wouldn't be a courtyard. If you fill this up all with structures, buildings I should say, or rooms, then all of a sudden you have no courtyard. Okay, courtyard is something that's inside, that's more decorative, right, than architecture. We can put the architecture on the inside here, inside wall, and add those in there. And the next thing you need to know is that you have that room to play in. We call that the sandbox. Alright, so the upper level balcony is going to have a balcony, and the levels are 12 feet. They're separated by 12 feet. So the first level is 12 feet tall, and then the second level is 12 feet tall. So your upper balcony will just be above 12 feet high, and it's going to be 15 feet wide. Okay, so just kind of get yourself set up for that. Again, this is open to, I've seen students that break up the monotony of having this long walkway. They break it up with some interesting pathways across the top, which I think is really cool. Bridges, that it breaks that up a little bit, because in reality that's a really bad place to be, up on a balcony, and you got somebody coming this way and somebody coming that way in a game. You have nowhere to go. So it's nice to have these little breakaway points that you can kind of keep people moving without feeling they're too exposed. So just make sure that you think about it, and you can design this any way you want. The upper level balcony has to be there though, and you will add on to that balcony. Let's say I want to add a bridge across here, then you sure can. So you would draw that in. Okay, I want your drawings to be, basically you'll do a rough drawing. You can probably print this out and print it out and go ahead and draw over it a loose drawing, and then go back into Photoshop, bring this into Photoshop and use the grid system that I have and just put a layer over top and this draw on top of it, and then you can give me basically the layer with all your the details and things that you want to add to your level. Okay, so that's how I would do it. Bring it into Photoshop, the lower level first, get all the rooms figured out where you want to put them, and use the template. That's what it's there for. Bring it into Photoshop, use it as a template, layer over top of it, and turn in what you have. And that's all you need to do on that part. Now, if you don't have Photoshop, I believe there's Sketchbook. I think Autodesk has Sketchbook. I've never used it, but I think it's available for you to go ahead and download for free. And I think it has layers, and you can add layers to it, and I think you can do the same thing. So look into that for something that you can use instead of Photoshop. Okay, so with that said, then we know that we need basically 300 feet by 150 feet rectangle. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Let's go ahead and go into our Unreal editor. You'll see this. And we want to create a new project. So I don't want to go back into my module 1. I want to create a new project. It's going to be a first-person shooter. Okay, first-person desktop, maximum quality with starter content, of course. Where do you want to put it? So, what folder do we want? Let's go in here and let's go back in here. And we're gonna bring it into that, and then our project name is going to be keep it short, 235 MOD 04. And so create project. Okay. Alright, here we are, and this is Unreal Editor. As you guys know, let's go ahead and move that down a little bit, give us a little more real estate here. Alright, so basically what we want to do is we need to get rid of the stuff we don't need to have, just like we did last time. And you can use the World Outliner to do that. So what I need you to do is just get rid of everything in here, and except for the stuff you need to have. So all your just get set up. We need all the walls gone. So I'm just going to select all those, hit the delete key, and it looks like I missed one. Okay, and then we got cubes here. That's in its own folder, so I'm going to delete that. So we got all these cubes. And the rest of it we gotta have. Yep, we gotta have the rest of it in here. Okay. And I would highly recommend start just turning things off. I think there are some things we have to have on to be able to see stuff, but biggest thing I worry about is students messing up their first-person shooter. That's hard to get in. And anything else that you happen to mess up, you might want to just turn those off, as long as you can see stuff in your scene, you're good to go. Okay, so I don't need this first person template. Okay, so we're starting with a new scene. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and we're going to click on content. And I'm going to right click over this and go to new folder. I'm going to call this my first name underscore MOD underscore 4. And let's go ahead and hit enter, and there that is. Open that up. And I'm going to go to File, Save Current As to get started. And I'm going to put down my first name, last name, module 04, and 01. So that'll be scene 1. I'm going to go ahead and save. We're just saving that empty spot here. And everything pops back up. It does it every single time. So let's just go ahead and go down the line. Just get rid of all that stuff. Or just hide it, I should say, not get rid of it. Okay, so now we have an empty spot. We're going to go ahead and stop the video, and we're going to go on to part 2.